This is an explicit podcast. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 51 of the AgeofSigBrah podcast. If you want to hear my Andy's laughing, listen to the end. I am Gary Hennessy, and with me as always we have
Andy Tolbert.
Hello Andy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm really good.
Yeah.
Not cracking up at all.
No, not at all, not at all. So, sponsors! So, oh God, I almost forgot. Not because
They're not that bad.
No, because the sponsors are so good.
Oh, I get
so
it.
good.
Yeah, that's the way throwing up works.
Yeah, so first up we've got Mierce Miniatures. That's M-I-R-C.
Nope.
No, mierce-miniatures.com, and they make the Darklands miniature game, as well as alternate minis that you can use in AOS.
We also have Element Games. That's elementgames.co.uk. Check them out for a great service. They do 20% off AOS. And basically, if you want to support the show, use the link in the show notes. And basically, we get a little bit of a kickback. So that'd be great if you could.
Yeah, awesome. So, Andy, today's What's it
about?
We're just doing one. That is
Oh.
that's about Legions of Nagash. So, as I said in the previous episode, this is also a book that I was massively erect about. Is fair descriptive?
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
Yes, why not?
Throbbing with anticipation.
Fantastic.
Sorry, I'm still excited from the Nurgle.
Throbbing and throbbing.
I've had an erection, that's what I'm getting at.
Great,
Yeah, cool,
great,
cool. Plain and simple.
Well done you.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, you kind of are going to take lead on this one, because I haven't quite fully digested the book.
No.
So about
halfway through.
So papery.
Yeah. So nutritious and delicious.
Yeah. But I mean, from what I've seen, it looks pretty fucking cool so far.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good companion to Malign Portents as well. So there's some information that is kind of shared across the two books.
Yeah. So it seems they work quite well together. Like info wise.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wise.
There's small pockets of the same information in both books, but mainly they kind of complement each other. Like they will cover the same topic, but maybe from a different angle, or go into more detail on a specific kind of like subsection of Shyish, for instance.
Cool.
Shyish. So should we just dive right into it then?
Smash it, yeah. Let's get into this. I've had a quarter of a Bud Light. That's fucking...
He is wasted.
Yeah, I believe these are 3.5%. So there you go.
0.5 would have done it for you though, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Right. Don't drink and record.
So, I suppose first and foremost, for those kind of like new jumping into AOS, the book does a good job of actually explaining who is Nagash, basically why has he got all these legions, you know?
Yeah, we've got a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So, Nagash is described in the book as being an ancient being that predates the Age of Myth, and obviously people that are used to Warhammer Fantasy, like previously, be very used to who Nagash is and all that kind of stuff.
He's actually one of their oldest characters as well. Yeah.
Yes. So obviously it goes, if you want to read back so far, you can go and find the fact that kind of like he was a mortal being in like times that predated Age of Sigmar, and then he turned into like the god of death that we kind of like know and
so that kind of
talked
evolved
about
during
now.
the end times when you got the super cool new model.
Yes. So he's just described as basically predating the Age of Myth at this point, and that he is like the great necromancer that has accumulated the mastery of death over the course of time. So it's also kind of like made they make a good point out of saying that he commands not only like the very lowly skeletal and zombie dead, but that he's like in charge of like the mighty soul-blight vampires, and he's got like very powerful undead lieutenants that if he wasn't around would quite happily like rule legions unto themselves. You know what I mean? He's that powerful. So he also, this is like a recurring theme all the way throughout this book, but they make a very big point about the fact that he believes that he is the only being with a right to the souls of the dead.
Nice.
And that is going to be a very big theme all the way through.
I guess he is the god of death. So,
exactly. Yeah. So, the whole cycle of life, once he thinks that, everybody gets to the point of death, that is then his.
Yeah,
they are his property.
Yeah,
like that's what
he
looks after. Exactly, he's in. Exactly. Yeah. But he's also described as, although kind of he's very aware that people are kind of like betraying him and stealing and siphoning off these souls in various ways, that he is very patient and scheming.
Yeah,
he's an eternal being. He doesn't need to strike while the iron's hot or anything like that.
I guess time's his ally.
Exactly. He can wait them out.
I mean, I suppose the longest waiting game is just wait till his rival's dead.
There is that, unless obviously they are also a god.
Yeah, it doesn't work for everyone. But...
No, but he does play the long game.
Yeah,
basically. So I think that's a pretty good job of that is Nagash. That's who Nagash is, and that's kind of like where we are with him at the moment.
Does any of the book describe why and how he gets his bony beard?
He just couldn't be bothered to shave. I think it goes into that.
Fair enough. I just think like the Mortarks aren't willing to like tell him how weird it looks. It's just like they're just like it's good. It's good beard. It's a good beard you got there.
Well done, Cap.
Yeah. I think it's longer, if anything. Yeah.
One other really, really cool thing they do with this book, and some of this information is crossed over, like I said before, into the Malign Portents book, is really flesh out the realm of Shyish.
Oh.
See what I did there?
I don't think you meant to.
I didn't.
You were too confident with that.
That's far too good for me. They do a really, really good job of explaining exactly how it all works.
Yeah. Just awesome. So I think like Shyish so far has been kind of, I would say, probably one of the hardest realms to like really grasp what it's about.
Yeah, definitely.
In like a game where a lot of people have had trouble grasping what the realms are like in general.
And I think they're clearly trying to, and again, a more of a Malign Portents point than maybe a Legion of Nagash point. They've got a really, really cool video on the Malign Portents site.
It is a great video explaining like
why is it buried so much?
Yeah, A, why is it buried in a site, and B, please just release that like 2 years ago. Yeah. That would have been really helpful.
So that in itself is obviously them trying to give you more of an idea of exactly how the realms operate and how they kind of like how they interact with each other in certain ways, and just giving you more of a grounding, more of maybe a old worldy kind of image
like a more
of how
corporeal version of how it works. So it's still very like the way it works is very vague and mystical.
Oh yeah,
but you have a much better like the whole thing about it's daytime in the realms when the realm of light is ascendant to the realm of shadows, and it's nighttime when it's reversed.
Exactly.
I never thought of that, and that is fucking super cool.
It is really,
and like
cool.
Shadespire is just in the middle.
Trapped in the middle of the
two. In the middle, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is great.
It's such a great video.
It is fantastic, and what this book then does is really, really gives you more of an insight to build on top of that for Shyish. So
that's cool.
So what is the realm of death, basically? So
Andy, what is the realm of death?
That's a very good question, Gary.
Open brackets, Shyish, close brackets.
Good, well done. Yes, yeah. You're the guy that reads the question mark at the end, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it's described as a myriad of underworlds, basically one for every belief system for any kind of sentient life within the mortal realms. Yeah. So it's not just one realm as such, it's almost loads of little pocket realms which make up Shyish.
Such a cool description.
Which is amazing. So if you believe that you will go after death to like almost like a very Valhalla-y kind of like warrior afterlife, you will go there because Shyish has manifested that belief because enough people believe in it, and there is a section for that. So if you believe that you will be tortured in death, no matter what you will be tortured in death, and there will will be that afterlife.
Yeah.
So
it's power of positive thinking.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
loves positive thinking.
Love it. It's great, isn't it? But it's so good, and it's described as obviously neither good nor evil.
Yeah.
So obviously, like when you think of the realm of death, you think of kind of like an evil, like undertone, don't
death
you?
Has that, stigma to it. Yeah.
We should really stop death having that really bad stigma along with it.
Stigma to it. Yeah.
And what I like is obviously like it says that some souls actually have the ability to cross over into different underworlds.
That's really
but obviously
cool,
only very powerful ones.
Yeah.
Most of them will just kind of like they'll reach the ends of these like mini pocket realms and just kind of like dissipate.
Yeah.
Or they'll go batshit crazy.
Yeah, it does seem to be a theme of going to the edge of something in AgeofSigBrah makes you batshit crazy.
So, because one of those things as well, actually, like kind of like going back to maybe a point that was made in the video on the Malign Portents website, and what I'll do is if you guys haven't seen it, I'll put it in the show notes.
Awesome, yeah, I think really helpful.
So, it says that all the realms are made up of kind of like crystallized magic.
Yeah.
And the magic is at its most potent at the very edges.
Yeah.
So if you see, like, the way that I envisage it, I might be wrong, but obviously with all like the mini kind of underworlds that are making all of this up, you have like the main realm of Shyish, and at the edges of all of those little pocket realms, the magic is at its strongest.
Yeah.
So the death magic is at its strongest, meaning that if any living being decided to venture out to the outskirts of the realm, then they're going to be more affected by death magic, and it's described that they will age 100 years in a day.
Yeah.
But on that, it does say that there are living souls within the realm of death.
Yeah.
But they are really at the centre of the realm. So, they're there, they're living alongside their dead ancestors as well, but it is said that in some cities and stuff like that they cohabit and they're absolutely fine, they live peacefully essentially, and some the living are slaves, they're workhorses, like you imagine like a soul blight city and stuff like that. They're basically described as cattle. So there's loads of different parts to the realm. There's loads of different versions of all these these afterlives. It's just described as, I think it's really quite cool.
I think it's
a real good feeling for what the realm is.
I think they've given like a real nice concise view of what Shyish is.
Exactly.
Which is really cool.
So the book then also goes into a real good kind of like loads of information on the Age of Myth, Age of Chaos, and the AgeofSigBrah. So what I've done is I've tried my best to put it all into a little bit of a, not like not chronological order within the ages, but at least break it out into what happened in the Age of Myth, Chaos, and Sigmar. So if we go through like the bits of information that happened in the Age of Myth that it says in there, obviously it says that Sigmar helped all the living settle in the realm of Shyish in the first place, and then he decides to free Nagash. Now it's at this point obviously where he frees him with the promise that he will join his pantheon. In which he does so, but obviously we then find out later that he does have his own plans and all this kind of stuff.
If you don't know what a pantheon is, it's a room for the panthers, so it's why. I mean, I wouldn't want to be
Don't
there.
Google it. No. Just accept Gary on his word.
That's it. Sigma. He had Knight's Panther. He loves panthers.
Great. How much of that beer have you had now?
It's almost gone to me.
Oh, is it?
Continue.
Nagash at that point is kind of like set to be the guardian of the realm of Shyish. So at the point where Sigmar was creating his pantheon, he was also basically giving the realms guardians. So obviously you had Alariel as the guardian of life, Nagash is the guardian of death.
Gorkamorka is the guardian of beasts.
the guardian of beasts, all of that kind of stuff, right? So at that point, Nagash decides to build his great necropolis, and it's known as Nagashizer, or Nagashizer. That's how I'm going to pronounce it, Nagashizer.
I mean, I really don't like that pronunciation.
It's weird, isn't it? How are you going to do it?
I think it's Nagashir.
Nagashir?
Yeah.
But what about the AR at the end?
I mean, I just don't like the fact you've got the word Shizer in it. Let's go with Nagashir.
Nagashizer. Nagashir. All right, I'll mispronounce it and call it Nagashir.
I just don't like it being called having the word Shizer.
No. That's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
The German word for shit is where you draw the line.
You know what? Yes. That is the word.
Brilliant.
That is where I'm going to draw the line.
Right, so that's kind of like, so obviously at that point, not going to go into exactly what happened throughout the rest of the Age of Myth, but that's kind of like what's detailed within this book. So Nagash is freed, he's built his necropolis, and he's chilling, he's the caretaker essentially of the realm of death at this point, until Chaos arrives, obviously in the Age of Chaos, ruining everything. So Chaos arrives, Sigmar's pantheon completely collapses.
Yeah. Oh, those panthers.
Yeah, they couldn't support the weight anymore. That was it. Like, there weren't enough of them.
All those dead panthers.
And at that point, Nagash actually abandons Sigmar at what's called the Battle of the Burning Skies, and that's detailed more in other Age of Sigmar novels and stuff like that, so you can go read more about that.
Yeah, they're going a bit of a description of it in the first Realm Gate War book. I think there's a fairly good description.
There is. So, and then Sigmar is sent kind of like, because of that, into a massive rage, and he goes to Shyish looking for Nagash, basically destroying legions upon legions and stuff like that. And all this time, while Nagash is actually Sigmar is searching for Nagash, Chaos is cleaning Shyish almost of death magic. Yeah, so it's kind of like,
I didn't know. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, obviously, like them being demons, they're not as they're immortal.
Yeah, they're not
creatures and stuff like that. They're not susceptible to that kind of stuff. But it's almost described as they're quelling the death magics a little bit. You know what I mean? They're not getting rid of them, but it's
just their presence is. Yeah.
So Nagash does escape Sigmar's wrath at this point.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about this is it mentions this thing called the Barrow Wars.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find any more detail on what that is. I haven't heard it before, but it seems to describe these are going to be obviously the time when Chaos was running riot in Shyish.
Yeah.
And taking it over. There's obviously going to be lots of little pockets of battles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they might go into more detail in this in another thing. This might just be them laying the groundwork for it. But it does sound like quite cool, doesn't it? The Barrow
definitely.
Wars.
I mean, they get like pretty much whenever they make up a war, it always sounds fucking cool.
Yeah.
They like laying breadcrumbs for stuff like this.
So during this time, basically, like Nagash's legions are suffering loss after loss against Chaos at this point, and they end up fighting the final battle at the steps of Nagashir.
Yeah,
not Shiza. And at that point, Archaon cuts down Nagash.
Yeah.
So, like, even in the realm of, like, they big up Archaon at this point, obviously, to make him, like, because he is...
He's the Exalted Grand Marshal of the Apocalypse.
Full title, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
So...
High five.
Well done, you. So he manages to cut him down, even in his own realm.
Yeah.
So he's that powerful at that point, he's got that much of a Chaos backing.
Double sixed it.
Yeah. Took him off, right?
Take him off. Get off.
But obviously, so that was... But it's kind of like said that he just destroyed his corporeal form. He didn't destroy the soul of Nagash at that point.
Yeah.
But
that's
also,
cool. Yeah, he'd be like destroyed his bindings.
Yeah,
almost.
Kind of. Yeah. But it is then said that the Mortarch, so you've still got Manfred, Neferata, and Arcan.
Yeah.
They managed to push the Chaos forces back enough to recover the remains of Nagash, like his physical remains, and they flee to one of the forgotten underworlds called, I'm going to say, Styx.
I believe that is how they pronounce it in the Hunt for Nagash as well.
I think that's where I got it from.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise, if I was looking at STYGXX, I'd be like, what are you
I'm pretty sure
it is. Talking about?
I'm sure it is Styx.
Yeah. So Nagash is reformed, but at the point where they retreat to Styx, but they remain there to fight off the Chaos forces. Yeah. And he's noted to stream that a stream of souls is being taken from him.
Yeah.
So he's still there. He's still fighting chaos off. He's still obviously raising the dead and using his power to keep that foothold in Stygics. But then when he's trying to siphon all these other souls off to his own force, there's almost like this void that is described as that's missing, and he follows it back to the heavens, basically.
Yeah.
And
so what that is, Nagash, it's self-appreciation. That's the void you're missing.
What?
Self-appreciation, that's what the gash is.
Are you giving him a pep talk?
I am, yeah. I'm
if he's listening.
Yeah, if he's listening, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Gary's self-help book for the dead.
Yeah.
Right, so obviously Nagash knew it was Sigmar, and basically he was so pissed off at this point that he turned the entire underworld of Stygics into a frozen wasteland. So he doesn't do things by half. He does not.
Does he?
He does not at
do
all.
things by half.
So I found that amazing. It's just like, what is he doing?
Yeah,
just this explosion.
So the way you're describing Nagash is he's kind of like Elsa from Frozen.
He could not let it go.
No, he could not let it go. If there's one thing Nagash can't do, it's let it go.
Oh dear God. So he Elsa'd Stygics.
Yeah.
But then he also saw a lack of elf souls being brought to Shyish and Stygics. He knew Slaanesh had been feasting on them, ever since the world at once, and he also knew of Malarion and Tyrion hiding Slaanesh, and it's described as almost like this pocket outside of the realms.
Yeah.
But so Nagash and no one else seem to know where he is.
Yeah.
So at the moment, obviously, there's this big thing of where is Slaanesh.
Yeah.
And he's captured at the moment. Nobody quite knows where he is. But it's also then put in there that Malarion and Tyrion are extracting the souls that he's been devouring.
Yeah, nice.
And what's really cool here, and obviously we've seen recently the Daughters of Cain videos and stuff
the hype
coming
for
out.
them, that's looking pretty
look
fucking
amazing,
cool.
don't they?
Yeah.
You've got Marathi basically offers to help in this process.
Yeah.
But what Tyrion and Malarion can't see she's doing is she's siphoning off souls into Ulgu, the realm of shadows. And that drew Nagash's attention, so it was almost kind of like he could see into the realm of shadow. He couldn't see into where they've got
originally
Slaanesh.
from. Yeah,
but it's really cool. They don't say anything more, and I obviously imagine that they might go into more detail about the souls and how Marathi is using them in the Daughters of Cain book, potentially when that comes out. So that'll be interesting.
That'd be really cool, yeah.
And that's kind of like where we are for the Age of Chaos. So Nagash is kind of retreated. He's kind of like he's a little bit on the back foot at this point. And he's still got his plans going on in the background. Yeah. But he's very much waiting and being that kind of like patient person. You know, Chaos have pretty much got the realm of Shyish, and he's got this one little underworld at the moment. Yeah. So then we go on to the Age of Sigmar. Yeah. And he basically sees the Stormcast appearing as a distraction. So he uses that distraction to reclaim Shyish for himself. And then he begins to rebuild, because obviously, it was pretty obvious that Chaos and Archaon were going to sack his capital city and stuff.
They're not good tenants.
They're not. They're really not. They will not get their deposit back.
No.
So he starts rebuilding Nagashir. Yeah. And it says actually in here that the Chaos Lords that were actually in charge of Nagashir at the time, he nails them to the walls. Yeah. Right? But he doesn't... He kills them, however, he sets their souls on fire. So their corporeal bodies are nailed to the outside of this, this big like castle, and they're basically soul blazed for the rest of eternity.
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
If that's not a deterrent, don't particularly know what it is.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty mean.
So at this point, obviously, where Sigmar's fighting, sending his Stormcast down to fight battles in all the realms against Chaos and try to usher in another age of myth and age of peace. He actually offers Nagash a treaty to fight alongside him. Nagash at this point refuses, partly based on the fact that he now sees Sigmar as a massive soul thief.
Yeah. Well, it seems he fits the bill.
He does kind of fit the bill. So he sees him as basically the biggest betrayer.
Yeah.
Like, he even though he betrayed Nagash before...
Yeah.
Even though he betrayed Sigmar before at the Burning Skies...
Yeah.
He now sees... So there's a little bit of double standards going on.
Yeah,
but I suppose...
it does seem it, yeah.
Yeah, but... so, now that he knows more about Sigmar and the Stormcast Eternals are in the realms and stuff like that, and he can see what's going on, they're not shielded in his ear anymore.
Yep.
Nagash starts sending out agents through all the realms, and he's really, really trying to find out exactly how Sigmar has done this.
Yeah.
Because he's managed to not take souls of regular humans and, like farmers and stuff like that, and turn them into super soldiers, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, how have you done that? Because when I raise somebody, they're just a skeleton, or they what they were before, you know what I mean? So it's like finding out exactly how he's done that so that he can potentially further his process, his mastery of death, So Manfred and Neferata at this point are used to cull Shyish of any chaos control. So they're sent out to all corners, all underworlds and stuff like that, and they're basically, their job is to terrorize, ransack, and just get rid of chaos from the realm, regain full control of Shyish. But Arkan...
who can?
Duncan?
No, Arkan.
Arkan is then asked to continue a secret mission long in the making. So that mission I'm not going to go into because it's a little bit Malign Portents spoilery.
Okay, so hopefully we'll get that in a future episode.
Maybe next episode or whatever we can go through Malign Portents whenever that may be. It's very interesting. It's very cool. So he's been doing this with the entire time, even though they've been kind of like repressed and shut in by chaos at this point as well. So it's all been going on behind the scenes. Like, he's been trusted with like the most secretive tasks, as Arkan would always have been. Yeah,
he's the number one lieutenant. Yeah,
exactly. So. And there's one other thing that I think is really, really cool in here, and it describes it as just further acts of soul theft. So we know Sigmar stealing souls, we know that Slaanesh is eating them, and then the elves are trying to then get them back.
Yeah.
But this one is described as whole villages just vanishing, but it's described as so subtle that Nagash hardly notices.
I suppose with like Sigmar taking, hundreds of thousands, when like a village of souls disappears, it's less on the spectrum.
Maybe, but they don't mention the fact that kind of like it is due to the size of like, or the amount of souls missing. Yeah. It's just described as the way I read it anyway. It was almost like the way that they were being taken.
Yeah, more of an underhanded way. Yeah,
was the subtle way of doing it. So Nagash sends Arkan to investigate.
Yeah.
But he can't even find who was responsible. He finds no signs of anything whatsoever. And it's just left there. Which I really like, because it's just this continuing story of kind of like, so who's taking those souls?
Yeah, I mean...
Why are they taking them? What are they doing with them?
Yeah.
Is it an inside job? Is it one of... is it maybe Manfred, for instance? Is it a future race that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah.
Like, will they continue this story? Will it tie in somewhere else in another battletome in the future?
Yeah, it's cool. It's a class, again, more breadcrumbs by GW.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Cool.
I love it. So, at this point, obviously, like... So we kind of end the Age of Sigmar and like the story in this book with basically Nagash just being super, super pissed off with everybody stealing all of his souls.
Yeah.
And the idea that kind of like, he needs, it gives it a very, very good impression that he's about to make his move.
Yes, yeah. Long time in the making.
Exactly. So, what do you think of that?
Yeah, it sounds really cool. It's made me want to read it more, and I already wanted to read it a lot.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I like that there's lots of, like, different... it's kind of thing where I think sometimes you could see Nagash as being like very one-dimensional.
Yep.
And to an extent, if it's just him, it is.
Yeah.
But because you've got all the Mortarks in... Oh, I said
Not the Monty Tarks.
Not Monty Tarks. Monty the Montark of Dreamies. Is like with all the Mortarks, it makes it like pushes the boundaries more. That them being involved gives it kind of more life and more structure to the story. Which
definitely.
I kind of like Nagash being like, this is what I'm doing, I need to sort this out.
Yeah.
And like everyone else being like, we'll take, the finer details of it. And, and that becomes more apparent and stuff like that. Like, Manfred's always super cool. Like, all of the Mortarks.
Sassy.
All of the Mortarks are really cool. Like, I would happily do like a Force themed round.
Yeah.
Like any of them. I think they're all super cool.
It's like this book, it has made me like do a Death Army.
Which is show a sign of a good book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've gone balls deep at this point. Fair. So I'm really looking forward to using some of these rules on the table. It'll be really
I'm
cool.
finding it really hard to resist doing a Legion of Sacrament.
Yeah.
Just because, like, it's Arcan.
I just like Manfred, though. Just the Legion of Night stuff.
Manfred's the cool kid's choice. I like Arcan.
It's Manfred, man.
I like...
he's fucking awesome.
Man. He's awesome. Yeah. It's not Manfred Man.
Manfred Man.
Someone else. It's not him.
So that's kind of the lore behind it. But obviously, this book splits up the death... army as we kind of know it within Age of Sigmar on the table as well.
If there's one thing this book is not lacking, it's rules.
That's very true.
It's shocked.
It is,
balls to the walls rules.
Rules for days.
Yeah. Mad rules.
So I don't think we're going to go really too deep into all of the actual rules and stuff itself. Because again, what we did with the Maggotkin book, you've got other people that do very good, very in-depth rules coverage and stuff like that. So I'm sure there'll be other podcasts and stuff around that will do it better than we will.
Yeah, I'm happy with our focus.
Yeah.
I also think it's nice that we kind of go and we'll go play a few games and then probably cover it at a later date.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But one thing that I will go into is obviously it's broken down into four main legions, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have the Legion of Nagash, which is kind of like the overarching army. Like, it's when Nagash is looking after it. Kind of like, there's very few restrictions on what you can include and stuff like that. It's Nagash leading a force.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Legion of Night, Legion of Sacrament, and the Legion of Blood. Yeah. Obviously, all very familiar names there because they're the Mortarks of Night, Sacrament, and Blood.
Yeah.
Being Manfred, Arcan, and Neferata.
Yeah.
So what it does in this book as well is it does explain exactly what their purposes are.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
I thought that was really cool. Yeah. I really enjoyed the community articles on
Yes,
each
they
one.
did that as well, yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, so Legion of Night. So the Legion of Night is Manfred's Legion.
Yeah.
And what I really like about this is obviously, an undead army is filled with, like, undead dragons, banshees, spirit hosts, like, dead direwolves, skeletons all over the place. Like, it's going to be a scary damn sight, isn't it? But specifically, the Legion of Night is Nagash's terror weapon.
They're like the worst of the worst.
How can you be like, exactly, like next level scary shit?
Yeah, it's like, it's a dead dog. Oh my god, how dead that dog is.
So it's led by Manfred, which obviously again people like familiar with the old world and stuff like that will know of Manfred of the von Karstein, Mr. Sassy himself.
Yeah,
and it's described like there's a bit of more background as to like what he's doing and where he's from, as from an Age of Sigmar point of view in the book as well. So it's described as he actually rules over an underworld of Carstinia.
Yeah. Weird,
that, isn't it? But he rules over mindless dead, but they're moulded to look like former rivals of his.
Yeah.
So they are there literally as footstools for him, serving him like goblets of blood. Like, it's...
What's just twigged with me is Manfred is kind of like the gamers that can't get over that Warhammer Fantasy Battle's gone. It's like he's moulded him to look like his rivals from the old world. Like, I really like that. It's like they're probably on square bases. It's like, I just think I just twigged. It's like, that's amazing.
That's
like,
great.
I used to be in charge.
I love that so much. That's really good. But it's also described as, and again, this might not be a shock for those that are familiar with Manfred's background, but that he's currently playing the part of a willing servant.
Yeah, it seems to be very common in his background that he's like, I'll help you.
Yeah, and that he is biding his time to become, quote, Master of Death.
Yeah.
So obviously it's also said that he's very much aware that Nagash can kill him with a look.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's hyper aware of that.
Yeah, you've got to play a careful game when you know that's on the table.
Exactly. So he's hyper aware of what's going on, which leads me to maybe believe that, like, to tie up that thread, it could be Manfred stealing those stoles for some other purpose, to build an army to maybe try to usurp Nagash.
Yeah.
So that's one theory. I have no idea if it's true, but it'd be quite cool if it was. I think it would fit quite in.
Yeah.
So then you got the Legion of Blood, which is led by Neferata.
Yeah.
And this, like, the way that they're used here is obviously really cool. So vampires aren't described necessarily. They're still referred to as vampires, but they have the soul blight curse in Age of Sigmar. And they're used by Nagash as spies within all of the cities and stuff.
That's like a very old school Neferata thing. That's really cool.
And they're used as not only just like spies to kind of listen in and find intel, but to spread the soul blight curse throughout all of these cities and stuff like that, to try to undermine democracies and all this kind of stuff. So
she's got a tactic and she's using it again.
She's good at that. Yeah. So who is Neferata, I guess? So she's described as the first to bear the soulblight curse.
Yeah.
So potentially the first vampire that everybody is descended from.
Yeah.
She resides in a domain called Neferatia, which might be getting a bit lazy on the naming side until you hear what the capital city is called.
I don't know. I think Neferatia is worse than New Lamia.
Yeah,
I quite like New Lamia.
New Lamia, like new metal.
Yeah.
It's weird, like...
Yeah, particular, it's spelt like that.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
So New Lamia is the capital of Neferatia.
Yeah, that's not as good.
I find that hilarious.
Yeah.
I fine, not a problem. I just find it really funny.
Yeah.
But it's the one, like, these are the cities that I mentioned about earlier. So they're all living creatures within these. They're not living in harmony. They're cattle.
Yeah,
essentially.
they're just used to feed on.
Yeah, they used to feed on their servants, slaves, whatever. They're like the lowest of the low. But then you've also got her court of New Lamia.
Yeah.
Now, not being familiar with Old World lore, I don't know if this is new for Age of Sigmar, whether or not she had the court beforehand.
It's pretty much her redoing what she did in Lamia.
Okay,
so
fair
it's
enough.
literally exactly, from just reading these notes, this is exactly what she did in the old world.
Okay, fair enough.
As I said, she's got a tactic, she's doing it again.
So what this is for people that aren't aware then, is she has got a court of New Lamia, which is made up of vampires which are all vying for control of that court. So she's the head of it, but like they're all vying to be our number one, basically. And she wants it to be kind of chaotic and backstabby, because that means that it ensures her followers will do great deeds for her in order to reach that level. Yeah,
because it's always described as well as if they're fighting each other, they're not fighting her.
That's true.
So they're arguing with each other for her attention.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
they're not trying to usurp her.
No, definitely not. And what's really cool is obviously it says that, you know, certain vampires will scheme for decades, for centuries even, in order to actually enact their plans to get up to be next to Neferata, only to be there for approximately 10 minutes because someone else will backstab them immediately.
Yeah, it's definitely the Blood Court.
Yeah.
I really like that whole story. I think it's it's really cool.
And then you've got the Legion of Sacrament. So Legion of Sacrament is led by Arcan.
Yeah.
And he and his followers are the masters of death magic. So Arcan is described to be, if Nagash wasn't a thing, he would be the master of death. So he has the best grip of like the winds of death.
But he feels like, from lots of the stories, it feels like he's happy with his place.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's not
He's
doing the
definitely brown-nosing.
trying to like
Doing a Manfred.
trying to like usurp Nagash. Like he's happy to be number two.
No, he is very much so. He's in, whereas kind of like obviously Nagash wouldn't trust a character like Neferata. He's aware of Manfred von Carstein, and he only keeps him Manfred around because he knows how dangerous he can be. So it's one of those things of keep your enemies closer, kind of thing. But he also he also knows with Manfred that he can kill him with a look.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So it doesn't seem too dangerous for him. Whereas Arkan has always been this willing servant.
Yeah.
He has always given the secretive, top secret stuff that he wouldn't even entrust to Manfred or Neferata.
Yeah.
He's the golden boy for Nagash. And he's described as having, I can't even remember the name of them now, but I think like certain necromancers, like I think it's like the Black Court or something like that, or like his black necromancers and stuff, that they all have this innate extra power into death magic. So they are the big magic users. They're the ones that all kind of...
It's kind of make me want to do the army more.
Yeah.
Cheers, Andy.
Well, there you go. So, but we went through kind of, Arkan is the goody two-shoes. He is the guy that's brown-nosing. He is kind of like Nagash's eyes and ears almost in the fields to
It's almost like Nagash 2.
Yeah,
he's
pretty
like
much.
he's like the mini version. Yeah. I do like in the book as well. I didn't really notice before, but it's really true where his like Arkan's armor resembles Nagash's. Like that's really I didn't notice it before. I was like, oh yeah, it does. He's got like the silly hat as well. Yeah, it's like that's really cool.
Nagash too, but so those are kind of, so that's where we are with Nagash. That's kind of like how his legions and his main lieutenants, his Mortarks are all set up at the moment, and it kind of leads all really nicely into what Malign Portents is, really. So they really complement each other very well, and it was a really, really good read. And for somebody that wasn't necessarily too interested in death,
I mean, before, I'm going to be honest, it's really weird from my point of view. It's like, oh, Andy, like, because you're really good at doing one army. Yeah. Like, I'm awful. You're really good at going
I'm really good at owning one army.
Okay, well, fill that void. Fill that void, Andy. You're like Nagash. Fill that void.
Don't say Nagash and fill that void.
Fill that void. Where, you are very good at sticking to an army. You're good at sticking to a project. Might not complete it, but you stick to it. You go for it. Where I'm very, take with a left. But when something comes along that you decide to do, like a new thing, it's a real shock to me because it's like, this isn't Stormcast. So, it must have, I'm really looking forward to reading it because it must have really made an impression.
It's really cool. It's a combination of this book and Malign Portents because I pretty much read them back to back.
I can't wait to, like, I'm very close to the end of Malign Portents, and I'm genuinely like, I know we'll talk about it in a later date, but I just super want to play a full game of that now with like prophecy points and the war scry sit down and all that stuff on the table. And
because you can set it in the realm of Shyish as well, so now knowing a little bit more about it and stuff like that, it just makes it cooler, I think. Yeah,
that's definitely really cool. So I look forward to us talking like more about that
in the far future.
In the far
future.
Right, is that us done?
That's me at the end of my notes.
Yeah, it's cool. I genuinely it's got me really pumped. I mean, as I said, I already really wanted to get the time to read it, so now I'm looking forward to it even more. Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. I'm gonna go paint sassy von Carstein and a load of ghosts now.
Nice, it's cool. I like it. It's cool. So, if you want to get hold of us, you can at AgeofSigBrah@gmail.com. You can also get us on Instagram and Twitter with the handle at AgeofSigBrah. You can get us on Facebook at facebook.com/AgeofSigBrah. And we are sponsored by Mierce Miniatures. That's MIERCE-miniatures.com and elementgames.co.uk. So all that's left to say is bye! Always the busiest fucking time when we do the record.
Why do you have to live on a main road?
It's not even a main road, it's a cul-de-sac, Andy. It's a cul-de-sac!
You're a cul-de-sac.
You can suck my cul-de-sac.
I'll cull your sack.